just like we always talked about. Cause you were so excited for me to finally drive up to your house. But the day I drove through the suburbs, crying cause you weren't around.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today I am going to be recommending books to you guys based on the song Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. So obviously if you guys follow me on Twitter, you will have seen that this song has kind of taken over my life since it came out, I think last week. It hasn't been that long since it came out, but I am obsessed. I listen to it as often as I can, honestly. You can't just listen to the song once, you have to listen to it like 5, 6, maybe 20 times in a row to really let those emotions sink into you and grab your heart and rip them to shreds and make you sob. The amount of times I've listened to the song and just like lay there and cried, it's a lot. But we all know the song, we all love it, I think, and it's like one of the most popular songs in the world right now. It keeps breaking records and I am so excited to see that because Olivia Rodrigo, I am her newest, biggest fan. I haven't watched High School Musical, the musical, the series yet, but now I'm definitely gonna watch it because of her, and I'm gonna look at that guy. I don't even remember his name, but the guy that the song is supposed to be about, I'm gonna look at him. And I'm gonna be mad at him, but I'm gonna look at her with like hard eyes. But anyways, I am rambling already. But I thought it was only fitting that I made a video about this song because it has, like I said, taken over my whole life and I needed to talk about it. So I decided to recommend some books that give me the vibe that this song has, which is grief and sadness. Obviously the song is about, if you haven't heard the song, first of all, go listen to it, pause this video, go listen to it and come back, except you might be emotionally distraught once you listen to it, but that's okay. Just go listen to it and come back. But for everyone who has listened to it already, hi. So obviously this song is about a breakup and just the emotion that she puts into the lyrics and her vocal performance in the song is just so amazing and heartbreaking, and I just want to cry. And that bridge, ma'am. Oh my god, it's so good. So anyways, so I wanted to recommend some books that give me similar vibes to the song. So not all of these books, in fact, a lot of them don't even have breakups in them. Some of them do, but even the ones that do have breakups, there's definitely more to the story than just like a couple breaking up. Sometimes it is spoilery, but if you have read the books, maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from because I definitely don't want to spoil anything. But if you love the song and you want to read some books that give you some similar vibes that this song gives you, which is sadness, then I have some books to recommend to you guys.
You're probably with that one girl who always made me proud. She's so much older than me. She's everything I'm insecure about. Yet the day I drove through the suburbs, how could I ever love someone else?
So the first book that I want to talk about is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. First of all, this is the beautiful Illumicrate special edition. Look at how beautiful this book is. Like this alone, the cover alone should be enough of a recommendation because this makes me want to cry. But anyway, so this book, mostly I would say that the second book, I still haven't read the third book actually, but I would say mostly the second book gives me the same vibes as Driver's License because, so first of all, we're following this girl named Karu who she lives in Prague, and she's not really a human, but we don't really know what she is, and she doesn't really know what she is either. She was raised by Chimera and she works for one of these Chimera named Brimstone, who is this guy, this handsome lad on the cover, and she basically runs errands for him and she collects teeth for him, but we don't really know what Brimstone is using these teeth for. And we're also following this angel named Akiva, and Karu and Akiva have this very interesting relationship. They have kind of a history together, but we don't really understand what that is until the end of this book. And then the ending of this book going into the second book, I would say has a lot of similar vibes to Driver's License. And I get, like, obviously I don't want to go too much into spoilers, but I will say that especially from, well, I was gonna say especially from Akiva's point of view, but I would say that both of these characters in the second book are feeling this kind of grief that is being talked about in Driver's License. Like, not grief about mourning someone who died, but more grief in the sense of just like mourning something that you thought was there that wasn't exactly what you thought it was. And I found the second book just kind of heartbreaking to read because so many of the characters are just so sad. And they definitely gave me those like sad vibes that Driver's License gives. So if you like those vibes, I would definitely get into this series. It's not all sad all the time. There is definitely some lighter moments in this series, but yeah, like I said, especially the second book, it is definitely pretty dark and gave me some of those similar vibes that Driver's License gives me, which just makes me want to cry. So, yep.
I know we were perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one. And I just can't imagine how you could be so okay and it all gone. 'Cause you didn't make what you wanted, it's all about me. You said forever, now I drive alone past your street.
So the next book I want to recommend, we all know I love this book, and it's Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. Oh my god, this book, first of all, the song was basically made for DeMarco in this book, who is the male lead, I guess, in this book. He is the saddest boy. Like, I know Janella herself calls him Sad Boy DeMarco because he's just so sad all the time, and I'm like, a sad little puppy. Like, I just wanna make him smile. So he basically wrote this song, honestly. Like, his character is just like I said, sad all the time. So in this book, I'm not gonna say like super detailed synopses of these books. I just want to explain why they kind of give me similar vibes to Driver's License. But yeah, like I said, I definitely think that this is a song that DeMarco could have written because he goes through a lot of emotions in this book. And I would say again, especially the end of this book, and obviously I haven't read the second book yet because it's not out yet, but I have a feeling going into the second book because of what happened at the end of this book, definitely he's gonna be even sadder. It's gonna be like Where Dreams Descend to, too sad, too furious. But anyways, he and Kalia, who is the main character in this book, they have this kind of interesting relationship. Like, it's definitely, I wouldn't call it hate to love, but they just kind of like don't really like each other at the beginning. It's more like annoyance to love, I would say. But at the same time, they kind of both are attracted to each other right away. And then their their romance is one of the cutest romances ever, and it just makes me so happy. But at the same time, it's really sad because of certain things that happen, and you're just rooting for them so much. And I feel like in Driver's License, not that you're rooting for her and the guy who broke her heart, because how could he do this? But you're rooting for her to be happy, and that's what all you want for Kalia and DeMarco in this book, is that you just want them to be happy. And there's just a lot that goes against them in this book, and I just want the best for my babies. So yeah, like I said, I feel like DeMarco could have definitely written this song because he's just such a sad boy, and this is a sad boy song. So yeah, but please read this book. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and I love it so much.
All my friends are tired, fearing how much I miss you. I kinda feel sorry for them, 'cause they'll never know you the way that I do. Yesterday I drove through the suburbs and pictured I was driving home to you.
So the next book I have is a bit of an obvious choice, but that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book, I feel like if you've read it, but even if you haven't read it, you can kind of see why I'm connecting this to Driver's License, because in this book, Evelyn Hugo, she has kind of a on-again, off-again relationship with this other actress named Celia? Is that her name? And I don't think this is a spoiler, but they often break up and they get back together. I mean, that's what on again, off again means, but I feel like every time they break up or they stop seeing each other, or even when they are together but they're kind of not really together, like they're both feeling a lot of pain that has to do with each other, and they just love each other so much and they want to give each other like all the love that they could give. But because of the world they live in, they have to keep their romance a secret, and because of their circumstances also, they can't always be together the way that they want to be together, and it is really heartbreaking to read. And again, I feel like this has a lot of similar vibes to Driver's License, because I think that they feel like that they're just never enough for each other and they can never give enough to each other, even though they just love each other so much. But I feel like people can definitely make fan edits of this couple and this song, and it would definitely make sense. Like especially the line that's like, you said forever, now I drive alone past your street. Like I can definitely envision like Evelyn driving past Celia's house or something like that and thinking these lyrics. Like I can definitely see it. So yeah, if you like the song, I think this is definitely one of the books that I'm gonna recommend that's like the most obvious connection, because these characters do experience a breakup or two and it can definitely go with the song. So if you want some of those sad vibes, then definitely read this book.
I know we were perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one. Oh, and I just can't imagine how you could be so okay. Now that I'm gone, I guess God didn't mean what you wanted. That's all about me. You said forever, no, I drive alone past your street.
The next book I have is The Invisible Life of Adaline by V.E. Schwab. The reason I'm connecting it is not so much because of a breakup, but more so, I mean, everyone I think knows what this book is about at this point, but just a quick synopsis. If you don't know, this girl, Adaline, is basically cursed. She is born in like the 1700s, but she is cursed to live forever, but everyone she meets will forget her. So as soon as they leave the room, as soon as they look away from her, they will completely forget that they ever met her. And so she lives this very lonely life for over 300 years, and she shares these intimate experiences with some people that she comes across. But then like the heartbreaking moment of if she's spending the night at someone else's house and then the next morning they wake up and they look at her and they have no recollection of her, and so they assume that they got like extremely drunk the night before and that's the reason they don't remember her. Or there's a really heartbreaking part of this book. Like honestly, one of the most heartbreaking things that I found in this book happens more near the middle than the end of the book, but it has to do with one of the experiences she has with this boy that she meets, and they obviously like each other a lot, but then when he forgets her, like it's so heartbreaking. And so when I was looking at the lyrics of this song, like the lyric that jumped out to me that reminded me of this book is, I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. And obviously it means different things in the context of this book and the song, but it's just so heartbreaking to see people like that not that long ago seemed to care so much about her, and then all of a sudden they just don't even recognize her, and her having to deal with one moment they're caring about her and she cares so much for them, and then the next moment they have no idea who she is. It's so heartbreaking. So yeah, this book definitely reminds me of this song, and again, if you want to feel some sad times, read this book. So the next few books I have more to do with experiencing grief, like mourning over the loss of someone instead of just the grief of a breakup. So the first one that I want to talk about is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. In this book, our main character Bree, at the very beginning of the book, her mom dies in a car accident, and Bree is experiencing such intense grief. I mean, obviously she misses her mom so much, and I just can't even imagine like what she's going through in this book. And grief is explored so much in this book. Like Bree's mental health is a huge part of this book, which I love to see, and I thought it was written so well. And so I feel like even though the lyrics of the song are obviously about grief about a breakup, I feel like it can definitely apply to grief over someone you love passing away and they're no longer there and you just miss them so much, and you just like all you want in the world is for them to come back, and obviously they can't, and all Bree wants is just to see her mom again. I feel like this book can definitely connect to the song, because I feel like especially the lyrics, like at the very beginning of the song, you know what the song is named after, when she says, I got my driver's license last week just like we always talked about because you were so excited for me. When you lose someone, especially a parent, like I mean, I don't know if Bree got her driver's license yet, but there's gonna be so many things that she's gonna experience now, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of things that she talked about with her mom, like potentially getting married one day or having a children, or just a bunch of things that she thought that her mom would be there for and now she won't. So just that feeling of like things that you talked about together and that you were excited about together, and now the other person won't get to see you experience those things, like it's so heartbreaking. But yeah, so like I said, this book deals with grief really well and it is so well written, so I definitely recommend this book if you love driver's license. Another book that deals with grief is House of Earth and Blood or Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. And I mean, it is kind of a spoiler, but it's also in the synopsis, but I feel like it's better if you don't read the synopsis before you read this book. But our main character Bryce is going through the loss of several people, honestly, that are close to her that died recently. And again, I find the grief in this book is also written extremely well, especially just like how her grief kind of ties into everything that happens in the book. With grief, you never escape it. Like, it's part of your life now. Like, everywhere you go, you just feel like this part of you is missing because you feel this severe loss. Something that was so important to you and something that was so important in your life that, you know, you could never have possibly imagined what it would be like to be without that thing, and now it's gone. When I talk about thing, obviously I'm talking about a person in this instance, and I find the grief in this book is also written extremely well. So if you're connecting this song to grief over like mourning someone who has passed away, then this book and Legendborn I would really recommend, because I find the mental health in this book and Legendborn are some of the strongest parts of these books. And I just found Bryce's journey with the loss that she goes through is written extremely well in this book, and the way it all just kind of ties together, especially at the end of the book, is very emotional, and like the grief that she feels just never leaves her. And I find listening to Driver's License, just like this pain that she's feeling, like obviously a breakup, like going through a breakup is not as bad as someone close to you dying. I'm not trying to say that that pain is equal, but like when you speaking from a personal experience, when you're going through a breakup, it honestly feels like someone has just taken your heart and crushed it, and you feel like it's like physical pain that you feel, and it really sucks. And I think anyone who has gone through that and listens to Driver's License, like you can just hear the pain that she's feeling in these lyrics and in her performance, like I said before. And I feel like if you are looking for books to kind of emulate that pain, whether it's cathartic for you or whether it gives you comfort in some way, then I definitely feel like that pain is written really well in, well, all the books that I'm mentioning. But if we're talking specifically about grief over losing a loved one, then this book and Legendborn I would really recommend. So the next book that I want to recommend is not so much losing a person in the sense that they have passed away or even that it's a breakup of any kind, but literally losing them kind of. So the book that I'm going to mention is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, because at the very beginning of this book, our main character Laia, her brother is taken away from her, and we don't really know where he is taken to, but her main goal throughout this book, and I mean I've only read the first two books in this series, but her main goal in this book is to find him and save him, and she feels like she owes that to him. And also because her brother is pretty much the only family that she has left, because I can't remember exactly, but I think at the beginning of this book she has already lost her parents, and then soon after the book starts she also loses her grandparents. So her brother is the only family that she has left, and now he's taken away from her, but she's not sure if he's even still alive or not, but he's all she has left and she just needs to find him and save him. And so obviously she is feeling a lot of pain because she has lost her brother, like in a literal sense, like she doesn't know where he is, but she knows that there's a chance that he's still out there. And I feel like in Driver's License there's not so much, I mean I feel like normally when people go through breakups there's like that tiny bit of hope that the other person will change their mind and they'll come back to you, and I feel like that is present in Driver's License, but I think she is more just trying to accept that this person is gone from her life, and there is that sliver of hope that he's gonna forget about that blonde girl, you know, and come back to her, but she knows that that's pretty slim. And Laia knows that there is a very low chance that her brother is even still alive, or that he won't be completely changed when she does find him, and the chances of her even finding him, because the things she has to do to try to even find out where he is, like not even just to go to where he is, but the things that she has to do to even get information about where he is, like are extremely grueling and kind of horrific, and she goes through a lot in this book. There is honestly very little hope for her, and I would say that that theme of hopelessness which is present in Driver's License, is definitely present in this book. So again, this is another book that I would recommend.
'Cause you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me. 'Cause you said forever, no, I drive alone past your street. You said forever, no, I drive alone past your street.
And finally, this last book I thought I would just throw in because I find this is kind of a more fun answer, but that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And I find that this song, like, I could just picture someone making a fan edit of Laurie and Joe and having this song playing because, I mean, I don't think this is really a spoiler, but just in case, I'll try not to spoil it if you haven't read Little Women yet, but I feel like everyone knows what happens in Little Women. But I feel like the song can definitely be about Joe and Laurie, especially like from Laurie's point of view. But that's all I'm gonna say. But I can, like, I'm just waiting for someone to make an edit of like Timothée Chalamet and Saoirse Ronan, and especially them like on that hill, you know? But yeah, if you're looking for not such a heavy book to read that will give you similar vibes to Driver's License, then this is definitely, I mean, this book is still heavy. It's not like, you know, super fun times all the time. There's definitely some sad stuff in this book, but I feel like it's a little less heavy than all these other books. So if you're looking for something that's not quite as heavy, then I would definitely recommend this book. So those are all the books that I wanted to talk about today. Please go listen to Driver's License because it is truly a masterpiece. Honestly, I'm just waiting for everyone to just come in and be like,
it's not actually that good, it's so overrated, blah 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 blah.
Because this, okay, I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent right now, but I find it so annoying when just because something is really hyped doesn't mean that it's bad. And I feel like there's always people who are like, it's so overhyped, it's overrated, everyone is wrong about this song, it's not even that good. Like, just because something is successful does not mean that it's bad. Like, you're not cool for thinking everything that's successful is bad, okay? Just the song is like the most popular song in the world right now because it keeps like just breaking records, and it's the most streamed song in Spotify or something like that because it's really good. Like, it is truly such a well-written song, and her voice is just amazing, and the music video is amazing. Like, the song is amazing. So go listen to it, go cry, let out your emotions just like I've been doing, because I keep crying listening to the song. But yeah, so let me know if you agree or disagree with my with the books that I chose and my comparisons between these books and the song. But yeah, do you have any other book recommendations that you can give that remind you of this song? Please let me know. I would love to read them because I love sad things. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!